Today we have Glen Collinson of glencollinson.com, who's going to give us an insight and not a sales pitch into time travel. Can't wait. Okay, over to you, Glen.
Hey everybody, I've got loads of things I'd like to tell you. I could go on for hours and hours and hours, you'll have to stop me. And I've sort of reworked this presentation over a few times because of the things that I thought I would be interested in, put it all into context. So the first thing I'd like to ask you is anyone in there, I'm going to do a big about it thing here now, there's a logic behind it, but is anyone here actually ever felt angry in a traffic jam when someone's cut you up or had a row with someone important? Yeah? Okay? Now, the reason we do some of this is a presentation, sort of raising the hands and all that, is to get energy moving and get people to interact and understand that. But there's a lot, it's the social proof and all the child eating stuff, so there's all sorts of stuff, but go on. But there's anger, a lot of people have 5 negative emotions, a lot of people want to respirators suffer from anger, sadness, fear, hate and guilt. Now, I come from a very technical background, I work in IT. I need numbers, statistics, square lines, no curves, no fluffy stuff, nothing soft, nothing pastel, with black and white or sharp, strong colours. That's where I always believe. If there's no statistical answer to why we do something, then that doesn't work for me, or hasn't in the past. But the last 12 months especially, I've had a total change in my life, with loads of things going on. I've opened my mind to a lot of things. Someone said to me once that there's loads of different levels of learning. We all know that we know certain things, and we know that we don't know certain things. We forget that we know some things. We know we don't know some things, and there's certain things we don't even know we don't know. So there's probably things going on in science development at the moment that people don't even know exist. Particle physics, quantum physics and stuff, we wouldn't even know what the word means. So we know things, and I think everyone should accept, really, I certainly am anyway, is there's things we don't understand why they happen or why they work, or that there's a better way to do certain things. Okay? So as part of my NLP training, which is to help all the coaches, all the people that work with on a personal basis and on a business basis, I signed up for a course which included TimeLine therapy. I thought, well, I'm not a therapist, I don't really want to do therapy on people, so what's all that about? So, being from a technical background, squares and angles, and not this kid and stuff, fluffy stuff, not for me. But I did it, and it's really changed my life in a way. And loads of people, I worked with a guy who was 55, went through this process with him, and basically, at the end of it, he broke down in tears, hopefully it's not because of me, but he realised that he'd had three failed relationships, or 3 broken relationships, if you like, and it stemmed back to him when he was 2 years of age. And doing this process, not even realising, and he said, oh my God, that happened because this is why I thought about that situation in my behaviour. So TimeLine therapy, or creating the future therapy, it's based on 23 years of research by a guy called Tad James, and he's an NLP master trainer. And basically, there's a couple of things you'll be interested in TimeLine therapy for, or creating future techniques. The first thing is to go through these 5 negative emotions: anger, sadness, fear, hate, and guilt. And we use a process. I use this with my son's 16-year-old friend who's terrified of dying after an operation and who's terrified of heights. And I can do NLP fast forward if yours, but before you even do that, using these 5 anger, fear, sadness, hate, and guilt, get rid of them, then that can make a massive change in your life. Everything you do in your life, in your relationships, your friendships, what you do with your children, what you do with your parents, your siblings, right through to what you do in your business life. So as well as the 5 negative emotions, the other thing we do is we can work on limiting beliefs and limiting decisions. And I think probably most people will be able to turn around and say, if you've been in a room and you're a child, or like my young daughter, she's 4 in a couple of weeks' time, she saw my sister's reaction to a spider, and now she's scared of spiders. She's never scared before, but my sister went, oh my God, there's a spider across the room. So my little 4-year-old girl now is scared of spiders because of that. Now there's no real reason why she should be scared of spiders or not, or scared of heights. Again, you should admit, you can see some people who climb to the top of big scaffolding, go up to these big high cranes, do all that stuff, won't even bat an eyelid. Other people won't even get the first foot on the rung of a ladder. Okay? So a lot of these things, which comes back to the NLP side, is all around the fact that we develop these beliefs and things that's going to be dangerous, things that's good for us, things that's going to be bad for us. We develop those things, and that stays with us all through our life. One of the techniques and foundations of this TimeLine therapy is that what happens is they use this technique on people from the Afghan war, Iraq war, Croatia. They've used this, and it's a proven technique. And what they found is, through all this research for 23 years, is that what happens is they have something called a significant emotional event. And that first emotional event might be when you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, whatever. And what happens is you have this significant emotional event happen in your life. Okay, like that, my daughter seeing my sister jump when she saw a spider. And then what happens is, then every time we go through an experience in life that's similar, that builds up and tags into the end of it, and it builds up. So if you imagine when you go to some restaurants, sometimes they have a big metal spike with the receipts on, and someone else pays the bill, the record's put on top, the record's put on top, and it all adds down to the space point. So what timeline therapy does is a process where we can take you right back, and it's a non-disclosing process. So if I work with you, this is something I do with clients as a one-off. It's not what I do on a day-to-day basis, but it helps my clients who work with a lot of clients this way. And what we do is we take you back to that first event. You don't have to tell me what that first event was, although you can happily do that if you want to. We can work on that in terms of NLP. We go back to that first event, and if you imagine a string of pearls, and there's a knot at the end of it, and that first event is there, we cut the knot off the end, so that first event drops off. And then what happens then is we work through from that moment in time forward to the current moment in time, and get what we would call in the NLP world the learnings for each of those events, and disassociate all the negative, all the strong emotions associated with that, and find what the benefits is. At the end of that, by the time you get back to the current day, everyone I've ever worked with who's done this and turned around and said, I feel like there's been a massive weight lifted off my shoulders. People will speak to me a week later, a month later, 6 months later, and say, I can't believe I was in a situation where X, I was in a high place, when there was a spider there, where there was a frog there, there was a bears flying around, the bats, whatever it might be. And I've seen that, and I just didn't react, and I can't understand why. So it has a massive effect on your life. So that's some of the theory behind it. I can go on and on and on about this, so I'm not going to talk much longer. But the last thing I'll give you, this is a freebie. This is a technique which I used, the solicitor went to see, who was a bit sceptical about all this, and it's okay. Oh, by the way, just before I finish off, the anger, sadness, fear, hate, and guilt. It's about 10 or 15 minutes with the first emotion, which is anger. We use the same process for different emotions. It's about an hour-long process. Okay. I normally charge 60 quid for those sessions as a one-off, but I'm doing an offer on, that's 7 from this, but I'm doing an offer on where I'll do that with people who are interested. But it's about an hour-long process to an hour and a quarter, depending on what's going on. But the quick freebie I'm going to give you anyway is an anxiety cure. Okay, this works if you're open-minded. This will work for you. Okay, proven loads of times. If you all imagine that you knew in your own minds where your past was, you can do this physically, or you can just think in your head when I ask you the question. Think about it. If I said to you right now, first thing that comes to your head, where's your past? Which way would you point? So if you're happy to point, you know, so is your past behind you? Is it below you? Is it above you? You know, if you're happy to point now, point, where's your past? Okay? Where's your future? Okay? Now, what happens is, if you were to close your eyes now, if you're all bear with me for a second and just be open-minded, close your eyes, okay? Imagine that timeline you just pointed from behind you to in front of you or above, below you. You now look, and basically imagine if you could do, floating up above that timeline so you can look down on yourself and that timeline with your past behind you or to the left or right of you and your future in front. Okay? Now, when you float up, if you imagine it metaphorically about 300 foot high or 400 foot high, so you're very, very high up, your timeline's very, very small. Okay? And just imagine yourself floating backwards to a time in the past. Could be a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, something like that. Just drift back. When it feels right, or it sounds right, or it seems right, that you're in that place in the past, just stop there. Now just imagine floating back towards now. Again, out of your timeline. When you get to now and you're ready, just or nod or give you some indication. Okay. And then you just go now forward, just imagine floating forward into some time in the future. It might be a week away, a month away, a year away. Just imagine floating high up that timeline, looking down on the timeline, going into the future. Okay. And then lastly, you just drift back towards now, so you're hovering over today, over right now, this moment in time. When you're there, you're ready, just float back down to the current moment in time, and then just open your eyes. Okay? Now, that is just like, that's part of the process, that's a list in your timeline, and what's behind you, in front of you. How your timeline exists, whether you see yourself within that timeline, or you see yourself looking at your timeline, running from left to right, that has a big impact on how you act in your day-to-day life and how you manage your time and all sorts of stuff. I did it on me. During the process, the training we did, we basically got told to change our timeline to different way sitting next to a woman who'd done the course before, and she said, I'm not going to do this exercise. But since I've changed the timeline round, the time management's much better, I'm much happier with how I organise things. She said, I'm not going to change it back. So it's have a big impact just like that. Okay, so this last thing then for you, just now you've done that exercise, and we'll finish now, is based on that exercise you've just done about floating up and above and so on. If you can all think in your mind that something that's coming up in the future, in the near future, it could be 6 months off, it could be 6 days off, 6 hours off, something that you feel anxious about in the future, just imagine a situation, close your eyes for a minute. Just imagine any situation where you might feel a bit anxious about. It could be a presentation, it could be a meeting with a client, it could be the accounts due. So imagine that time when you're feeling a bit anxious. Okay? Now if you close the above your timeline again, as we just described then, so you're a few hundred feet above your timeline. Okay? And what I want you to do is to float forward in time to 15 minutes after the successful completion of that event that you feel anxious about. So the important thing is to float up, above your timeline, and float forward so you go past this event that you feel anxious about, and you're 15 minutes or so past that event, and it's been a successful completion after the event. Once you're there, you've seen that successful completion of the event, turn back around and look back towards now, and look at that event 15 minutes after the successful completion of that event that you were anxious about. Now, if you think now, you don't have to tell me, you just think in your own mind, how do you feel about that event that you were feeling anxious about? Do you still feel anxious about it now?
No.
Okay.
Not worth worrying about.
Okay. Anyone else, any other experiences? Anyone else still feel as anxious about that event that they were anxious about, or they feel better about it?
A lot better.
Okay. Yeah. That's a very quick group session, so it's not very intense. One of the things we teach in NLP is sensory acuity. So while we're doing these exercises, I'm looking at your breathing, your skin tone, your skin colour, tension in your face, rate of breathing, body language and posture, so I can tell if you're getting anxious or upset about something. And then I can obviously take those techniques to take the intensity away from that. That's just an example. So that's equivalent you can use in any event in your life. You walk into a presentation, you've got a meeting with the bank manager, with the accountants, instead of the tenant, which you'd be really happy to. Or a salesperson, obviously like our friend there, or Martin, these two wonderful people. So imagine the situation, if you're going to be anxious about it, put yourself on your timeline, go above it, float forward to 15 minutes after the successful completion of the event, so it's all been resolved, it's all gone well, and look back towards now, and it takes the intensity out. And the beauty of this process is, I did it with my son's 16-year-old friend who was really nervous, and it's an iterative process, so you can go around and do it again and again to reduce the intensity right down. He was at level 9 in terms of 10 being fear of death virtually. I was terrified of heights. He did the process 3 times into 1 now. So he climbs up ladders, he climbs up frames, all that stuff, he's not bothered at all. So that's timeline therapy, or creating futures as now known. We can use this process to put goals into your future timeline and change them. We can look at together the limits and decisions and limits and emotions. And that's just a bit of a taste of timeline therapy. So if you're interested in finding out more, give us a shout or meet with me at the end of the session and I'll say more about it.